What's up, everybody? Welcome to another exciting episode of Full Circle. I'm your host, as always, Harmon Jr. Please feel free to find me at Harmon Jr. on all your favorite social media. I think I hit them all, not on Parler, because they got all their information stolen. That's
Oof,
we have fun, people. We have fun, but they did though.
oof, oof. How did you get that stolen?
The sign up on Parler, you had to provide them with your driver's license and social security number. And
Oh,
in the user agreement said they were not liable for anything. You couldn't sue them for nothing. So
oh
I
God.
assume that was just a setup from the get go.
Yeah, there go
But
my brain cells.
but that's just one of the many things of 2020 that has tickled me pink, both literally and emotionally damaging, because that was that type of year we lived in. But this year is almost over, people. We made it. There's 2 more shows. This one, we're off next week for Christmas, and one more right before the New Year's. And I'm rounding it off with someone who helped me start season 3, Francisco Aguilar. How are you doing today,
What is
sir?
up? What's up, ladies and gentlemen? I'm doing great, man. Thanks for asking, dude. Just excited to be here with you once again. What is this, our third or fourth time working together now?
I don't know, man. I'm
It's it's
okay.
it's been a couple
At
times
least
now.
3. At least 3. I'm gonna
At
say
least
4.
three. I want to
Maybe
say
4.
I'm gonna go with 4 because 4 is always more. That rhymed,
Yeah.
so therefore it's true.
Mm.
But I'm doing great, dude. Holiday season's treating me well. As we were talking earlier, I'm expecting my second baby here, literally any moment now, right? Like my wife's right here next to me, and it could literally happen right now. So we're gonna take the podcast on the go into the delivery room, just to kind of give your audience a new experience for them, right? But no complaints. If I had any complaints, it'd be very poor of you to do so. But how are you been, man?
Oh man, I've been great. Season 3, you helped kick that off earlier this year, and it's been going strong. We've had a lot of great guests, some big, some small, some in between, some I can't even believe myself. So it's been
I've
cool.
seen your guests, man. Your lineup has been like crazy this last couple of months, dude. How are you pulling that?
Oh man, no, I just asked, I always tell I've been at this for a while. I've been
Yep.
at this for a while, and I always tell people, I never skip a PAX. Well, this year was different. I never skip an E3. This year was
Right.
different. And for my internship and my travels, I always tell people I meet a lot of people, and I guess this year, my guest catalog has been,
And it's
reflecting.
been awesome, dude. Like, I mean, I've seen. I think you even had Zach Ryan on here one time.
I did. Shout out to the
You
homie
did,
Zach.
right? Hell yeah, man. And then, God, Khalif. You
Khalif
had a
Black.
Khalif on here too,
Yeah, he
right?
was like here 3 episodes
Yeah.
ago. Shout out to the homie
Y-
Khalif.
Absolutely. Nah, man, you're doing some great work, bro. I'm still salty and mad that G Ford like obviously doesn't know what the hell they're doing with recruitment and HR, but that's on them, not on
Have
you.
they hired the last host yet? I know.
I have no idea.
Oh, okay. I'm about to say. I only know of the one, the
We
man,
should
the
start our
legend, the
own
myth.
network. Me
Okay,
and
we
you.
could.
Call it G6. There we go.
All my friends have the very, people do it, but they're like, oh, then why don't you start your own gaming website or network and stuff? And I always tell them I don't think I can. That's probably never gonna work. But yes, I get it. People have. Greg Miller has.
Yeah, do
Google.
it.
Google was a startup at some point. Amazon's a startup at some point. I get it. I don't think
Hey,
it's in the
man.
cards for me, but hey, if 5 years I'm still hustling, maybe I'll just be like, screw it. I'm gonna get me a 200K loan and make it happen. And then
There you go,
we'll
man.
sit back and laugh about this moment.
I believe in you, bro. If anyone can do it, you can.
Yeah, you could tell your children you was in the belly as we discussing this right now.
Uncle Dell. I'm having call Uncle Dell, dude.
Like, yeah. You're like, you see this mansion? It's because we were grinding.
That's right. You don't know what it was like back in the day, you kiddos.
But people, thank you for joining us. Oh, and real quick, Frank, where can people find you? Who are you? Let the
Ladies and
people know.
gentlemen, you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at GNR_Frank. Who I am and what I am. I mean, I'm just a content creator on YouTube and Twitch streamer from time to time. I do a podcast as well with some of my close friends. The weekly Farcast on Spotify and whatnot. Based out of Houston, Texas, right here with you.
Whoop, whoop.
Odell, originally from Louisiana, New Orleans born, but lived in Lafayette for many, many years. Just another guy here talking about games and loving what he does.
Cool. My family is from Louisiana, at least on my dad's side. They're from Alexandria, and I was born in Beaumont,
Hey,
Texas, but grew up
there you
here.
go. There
So,
you go.
I got that little Creole in my blood. I don't say whoa there, but
Who
Um,
that? Best food on the planet. Best food on the planet is Cajun food, bar none. No contest.
no
Just throwing it out
contest.
there. No contest.
So, people, you're
Don't at me.
probably wondering, what do we have in this one of the last two episodes of the year? We're bringing a holiday special. Actually, we're not. Actually, I've never actually done holiday specials. Maybe I will. But this week, three great topics as always. We're going to be talking about some of our favorite gaming moments of the year, which I guess is a holiday topic in and within itself. We're
Mm,
going to be talking about Cyberpunk 2077. And I feel like this game has been a topic probably out of the past 10 episodes at least 6 times. And it is keep on giving and keep on giving. But before all that, in case you didn't know, the Game Awards happened. Was that last Thursday at this point,
mhm.
December 10th. And, we got thoughts and opinions. First and foremost, let's talk about The Last of Us Part 2. Personally, I think The Last of Us is a masterpiece. I think Last of Us Part 2 is a great game. Maybe not a masterpiece, but it's hard to follow greatness. But regardless of what I think, it cleaned up at the awards. It pretty much won every category
Everything.
it was in. It was let's see, best action adventure game, innovation and accessibility, game of the year, obviously, best narrative, best performance by Laura Bailey as Abby. She gave a tearful acceptance speech, and I was like, oh, the
They should
feels.
just give The Last of Us its own award show
It
at this
really
point.
did.
You
Best
know what I
game
mean?
direction. So basically, if you're in a group with The Last of Us, you were not winning anything. Ori and the Will of the Wisps got snubbed. I tweeted out before the show. I was like, let me tweet everything I'm probably going to be mad about. I got 2 out of the 3. It was
Yep.
basically The Last of Us can't win everything. Ori got snubbed. And the last one was a throwaway of Ubisoft announces that Beyond Good and Evil Part 2 is canceled, which they wouldn't do at an award show if they did. That'd be
No.
weird.
That'd be
But
crazy.
yeah, Ori didn't win a single award. I thought it was gonna win best art. Like I was like, that's the giveaway. They'll give it best art, best art direction. It did not. I was curious. It wasn't even in the category for best indie game, which raised the eyebrow for me. I'm like, is it too? I wouldn't call Moon Studios a major developer, but I thought that was questionable.
I got a little bit of time to play it on the game on Game Pass here on PC, and I mean, I love the game. It's a beautiful game. Even from the very first one, The Blind Forest was a beautiful game. So I'm very surprised that it didn't get anything.
Yeah, nothing. But that is the nature of the beast. The second game that won, quite a bit of awards was Hades, which honestly, you knew
Mm,
that was coming.
I don't know. I played some. Man, look, I might be the outlier here. The game is fun and it is very pretty, but I think it's just a recency bias that people talk about a lot. Like it's the most recent big thing to hit, and they're like, "Oh, I just played Hades. I had a great time. Let me vote for that."
Yeah,
Not to
either.
discredit what they've done. It's a great game. Just saying.
Yeah, no, Super Giants, y'all made Bastion, so y'all can do no wrong in my eye. But I really thought it was interesting because it was like Hades is now on Switch, and people were buying and playing the game like it never existed on any other platform prior to the Switch.
Right.
I played it on Switch because I'm not gonna lie, it was like half off or something for like Halloween or something like that. I don't remember what the sale was, and I was like, "Oh man, you ain't gotta tell me twice. 50%
Y-
off, all about that."
Absolutely, dude. I mean, especially for that game. I bought mine on Steam on PC. I was going out of town for a couple days, and I was like, let me play it on my laptop. And I was like, oh, this is not a game I typically play, but this is actually really good.
Yeah, to the naysayers out there, it's commonly known I am not the biggest fan of roguelike games. I'm not saying
Right.
roguelike games are bad. They are just not for me. We all have those genres that, hey, not for me.
Hmm.
And I can say this, it is probably the first roguelike game I genuinely enjoyed. I made one full run through, called it quits. I was like, I know you're supposed to do multiple run throughs, get the story. I was like, nah, I made it to the end one
Yep.
time. I'll YouTube. I even tried it. I gave it 2 more runs. I was like, maybe and I was like, oh, nope. Mm-mm. See, the initial desire was let me beat the game, quote unquote. And
And
then
call
once
it a
that
day.
was gone, I was like, ooh, I don't know. And then people were telling me, oh, you gotta, fully beat it like 10 times to get the full breadth of the story. I was like, oh crap. If someone said like 3 or 4, I'd be like, okay, I can do that. I can play around with that. But like 10, no, that's no.
That's funny because like I'm having that struggle with Nier Automata. Like I've only cleared it one time, and I'm playing it through the 9S playthrough right now, and I'm just like, I have to clear this game at least another 2 times to get the full story. And it's like, but then PS5 is here and Cyberpunk is here, and we'll talk more about that in a bit. But I got you, dude. I feel you where you're coming from there.
Yeah, man. So, what did you think about the performance of, or not the performance, but the presentation of the show altogether? Clearly, yes, we know it's COVID, so we're not
Right.
going to get all the bells and whistles.
Yeah, I mean, obviously that's a factor, and you can kind of tell in the way that it was presented. I think not having a crowd there was probably the biggest like noticeable difference there. As far as presentation's concerned, it felt very like organized, almost too much to a point where it was almost too organized. It was like trailer announcement, trailer announcement. Like something about the flow just didn't kind of catch me with the show, right? To the point where I was actually doing some handiwork around the house, or one of my cousins was. Truth be told, one of my cousins was doing the handiwork. I was just kind of like sitting there pretending like I knew what I was doing. Um, but I don't know. I can't quite pinpoint if it was because the announcements didn't wow me, or if just the awards just weren't like necessarily sticking with me, because The Last of Us 2 just literally came in and cleaned house.
Yeah. Granted, shout out to the homie Jeff Keighley. Maybe he'll be on the show one day. He's actually not a homie. I took a picture of him once. He probably has no idea who I am, but if he does, man, Jeff, we'll see you in season 4. But
There you go. Season 4, episode 1.
the presentation, what really perplexed me was how they were announcing big game of the year winners almost as like a sidebar. It was just like, hey, and the game with the best performance is. I was like, wait, is this like the of like the small? I was like, oh no, that's the okay.
Yeah, they did that with
Like,
Final Fantasy and RPG, right? Like it was a sidebar announcement.
yeah, like they did that with I will say probably about half the list was sidebar announcements. Like they would
Yeah.
randomly, after a little segment, just be like, and the game winner of this is this. And I was like, oh, well, hey, I mean,
And I wouldn't imagine it's because they were crunched for time. I mean, you're streaming this on like Twitch and whatnot, so it's not like you're on syndicated TV with, X amount of time frame to do the whole show in, right?
yeah, you know, I mean, we weren't there in the room where it happened and all this talk, but
I think
I
you
just
were.
I did find some of those choices questionable. The thing is, I want to circle back what you said about the announcements. I 100% agree that it might have felt a little stagnated because I can honestly say I think they started off the show with the best announcement, and that was probably a misfire because at least for me, nothing hit that peak of ooh, who's the new Smash character? Oh crap, it's Sephiroth! Reaction videos galore.
From
And
left field.
yeah, and then other games, I was just like, oh, okay, that's cool. That's
Mhm.
cool. Yeah. I mean, it ended with the Mass Effect will return. That was great. I felt that was
Oh,
a
that
chef's kiss ending
dude.
announcement, but think that it was chef's kiss ending announcement, extremely hyped announcement with the Sephiroth and Smash. And I felt like nothing peaked again to the literal last announcement. I mean, there were some great game showcase, like the new artsy game with the girl riding the bicycle. Oh, what is the name of
Oh,
that
yeah,
game?
so she's, like, recording, like, the frog or whatever in the wilderness?
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about. Crap. Let
And
me
then
see. I had
and then I'll look up my other, I think it's called Arm or something. It's a rabbit and he has like a mechanical arm.
let's see here. I had it pulled up. Oh, Season.
Yeah,
Season's the
season.
game you're talking about. Yes, that looked really cool. That, and then I liked seeing some Returnal gameplay. That was pretty cool to see again. What's that Tom Cruise movie? That's based off of that movie.
Um Tom
He
Cruise
made
is in Mission Impossible, Oblivion,
Is that
Die
the one
Peak
where
or Die.
Yes, that one.
Okay,
Where,
there you
like,
go.
he constantly keeps crashing on that beach and, like, it's like some sort of war and everything like that. Anyways, remind that not Returnals definitely, took a page from that right there.
Yes.
But, like, you're right, dude. They started off with Sephiroth and Smash. I don't think that may have been the wisest decision, because you don't top that. Especially when, like, there was not a single utter on the internet regarding Sephiroth being in
Oh,
Smash Brothers.
not at all. That was, honestly, for a split second, I thought it was gonna be Master Hand because I was like, "What is powerful enough to destroy this thing?" And then I saw Sephiroth, and I was like, "Oh, some people are like, not another sword character," but I was like, this, I'll let this one slide.
Yeah. Yeah, he gets it, dude.
Yeah,
That's yeah. I mean, come on now, and like to know like Square Enix, I'm sure, holds on to their property very, very, very tightly. Like, I'm even surprised we got Cloud to begin with. So then to add Sephiroth into the mix, please,
You
I'll take that.
know,
That's
we also got to remember Nintendo has clout. Nintendo has clout. You
they got.
know, if Shigeru Miyamoto walks up to anyone in the industry and he's like, "Yo, this is happening,"
You
or you
do it.
know, it doesn't have to be him. You know, there's probably about 4 to 5 people, you know, at Nintendo that can probably just, you know, go to Square headquarters or whoever headquarters wherever in place in the world, and they're gonna listen. Oh, that game is
No.
called Fist, by the way. The one with the rabbit with the giant arm, forged in Shadow Torch. FIST
Okay.
Fist. That was the one like it's a rabbit. He has a giant arm in his back. It's a Metrovania looking game. If you remember that one, that looked cool.
You know, and then looking at some of these announcements too, Odell, like they started off really intense with a great announcement, and they ended off with Mass Effect, which by the way was amazing to me.
Mhm.
But then in the middle, you're supposed to have that one thing in the middle to really keep the whole thing going. And it was supposed to be Dragon Age, but all we got was a storyboard style announcement. And like, I mean, that's cool to see, and I'm glad to see more of Dragon Age, but I think maybe I just built up my expectations a little too high for that one. I was just so let down by that at that point. It's like, oh,
Oh no, you know, I get you. One of the things that when we have these big moments is especially as what I'll talk about this more later about our 2020 moments is as much as I love to see like gameplay trailers, gameplay reveals and stuff, I'm more of a fan of stuff I didn't know was happening.
mm-hmm.
You know, and a lot of this was stuff that we knew was happening more or less. You know, and I'm not taking anything away from Seasons, not at all. But Seasons was probably the biggest game announcement for me from the show.
Nice. Gotcha.
Again, I'm not taking anything away from Seasons, but you know, it's not a AAA title, obviously.
Right.
And from the AAA sphere, you know, we got Mass Effect, and I feel like that was it. You know, I didn't.
Right.
You know, these things we're always looking for wow moments. I'm gonna step away, not as a journalist, not as a content creator, but as a fan. You know, we always want these wow moments, these things to happen, and just jaw drop. And you know, I know people like say, oh, they're working on stuff, but remember, Cyberpunk 2077 was announced what 6 years ago,
Oh,
7 years ago,
8 years
8 years
ago,
ago. Yeah,
2012.
yeah, 8 years ago. So you can announce stuff way ahead of it playing releasing. And I
Yeah.
was really hoping I knew we were gonna get this, but I was like, maybe Nintendo's finally gonna drop its Golden Goose. We're finally gonna get
Metro
some
Prime 4.
semblance of what they're working on. Maybe a Switch 2, maybe like
Oh,
you know, some Breath of the Wild 2 gameplay trailer. Because one of my biggest things about 2020, Nintendo has been dead radio silent on almost everything.
everything. They have. They really have on everything. And it's kind of disturbing, but then they could just come out of the woodwork next year and just drop massive amounts of bombs on everybody, dude.
Oh yeah, bro. I'm thinking they have to because we got the 25th anniversary of Pokemon next year. You know, we got the Mario 35th stuff that they still got planned out. We have Breath
Mhm.
of the Wild 2. You know, there's a lot of stuff. It's weird. There's a lot of stuff we know about, but still not a lot at all. And
Right.
it's just, but this year, I mean, okay, all right, to you, Frank. Other than Smash announcements and possibly Age of Calamity, what other big Nintendo announcements do you think we got? I mean, we got Among Us on Switch. I mean,
Like limited to the Game Awards or for the year for
the year
2020?
for 2020.
Dude, the freaking Mario Kart AR game, Home
Oh,
Circuit. I thought that was one of the coolest things dude, if I was a kid and that existed in my time, dude, I would be annoying my parents to no end to get me that thing. 'Cause I thought that was like a really innovative, like and unique way of using the Switch. Like you literally see this camera on this remote controlled car that you have. That's like it's Super Mario and Mario Kart, and you build the track at home. Like that's really dope. That has a lot of really cool implications to it. That to me probably was my favorite Nintendo announcement. Of course, Sephiroth, love Sephiroth, but other than that, they haven't said much. And Odell, you know, I think it's because I think Nintendo's paying attention to what's happened with other people in the industry that have announced things too early and
yeah.
haven't delivered on their promises per se. and the backlash that comes with that, especially with the difficulties I'm sure that the pandemic presented to any industry, of course, for the whole year. But I mean, in games, especially when people are having to program and work from home, I wouldn't want to show too much off right now unless I was 1000% confident I was going to deliver in what I said.
So basically, you're saying Nintendo didn't want to do what CD Projekt Red did with Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
I assumed you were doing a segue. I was like, I'm taking this. I had some
Oh,
more
snap.
stuff to
I wasn't
say,
trying
but
to.
I was like, I'm gonna slam dunk this home real quick. We could have kept going about some more gaming, but nah, that was too perfect.
Oh, snap.
It was methodical. I congratulate you.
It just rolled off the top, man. It just rolled off the top, I promise.
But yeah, people, Cyberpunk 2077. It's literally, I don't think there hasn't been a month this year that Cyberpunk wasn't in the news for one reason or another.
Yep.
And that's kudos to them because they broke Twitch records, the most streams for a single player game ever. I don't know what their sales were looking like.
8 million.
Ooh.
They already made in like just pre-orders alone that went through and sold, they already made all their development costs back.
Oh.
And then some.
All right. So financially looking great. I mean, before the
Yeah.
game even come out. So first of all, y'all know me. I like to troll. I was always like, no, I'm serious. Every Cyberpunk the land announcement, I was like, we're gonna be playing it by March, April, May. Ha, you thought. Ha 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 ha. But
We should have been playing it by then now.
they got me because I had a bet, and I was like, I told someone we're not gonna be playing it in 2020. I may have lost some money on that, but that's okay. It's the nature of the beast.
It happens.
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah.
So it arrived, and
How much?
so
How much did you lose? Tell the people. Tell the great people.
I can't tell people that. I can't. I wasn't in the room where it happened, as my friends like to say.
Okay, gotcha.
I know nothing of the sort.
Hear no evil, see no evil, bud.
But so besides the delay fiasco and all that stuff, and everyone requoted Miyamoto to ad nauseum, which I think that quote's now hated now about delay games eventually good. It's become the like snob elitist wannabe gamer geek person.
Yeah.
I actually like the quote. I want to say that. I'll admit that here. I don't think there's nothing wrong with the quote. Apparently, it's a stigma now to say it. So I'm like, all right, no more saying that quote.
Just keep it up your sleeve for next year, Odell.
Yeah, I'm happy I didn't get it tatted across the chest like I tried to one night.
Hey,
But
you should do that.
The game release finally, yay, it's here, and they had some issues, which I'm not gonna lie, Cyberpunk set themselves up for failure, Frank, because every time they showcased the game and how great it looked, it was either running on PC or Xbox Series X. I know that Xbox Series X video came out maybe like a week before launch, and it looked amazing. And I don't know if it was a souped up X in developer mode. But long story short is, if you weren't playing on PC, PS5, Series X, or S, the game doesn't perform as well. If you're playing on base model Xbox and PlayStation, base model Xbox One, base model PS4, the game is damn near atrocious. I wouldn't say unplayable, but
it looks like Grand Theft Auto 3 in some instances, dude.
Yeah.
Like, ouch.
Yeah,
Big time ouch.
And okay, so I'm torn because I get it. Fundamentally, this game was supposed to release on base models, PS4s and Xbox Ones, if everything went according to plan.
Right.
It clearly did not.
I don't know if there was a plan at this point.
Oh yeah, but
not to be a jerk, but I mean, like,
and I'm not gonna be a jerk either and say, but I think if we're talking about literal statistics here, percentages, hard numbers, if CJ Project Red said, we will assume that most gamers at this point have a upgraded console, meaning third, second generation PS4, Xbox One, and or PC and or PS5, Xbox. Statistically speaking, they're probably correct. They are.
Like, if more people would have like the PS4 Pros to Xbox One X's.
Yeah.
As far as last gen goes, okay, yeah. I agree.
Like at this point in 2020, they would have assumed that if you have a PS4 or bought an Xbox One, at this point you either upgraded from your original base model when you bought it at launch or what have you, or when you acquired it, that the Pro or the I don't know what they call the in-between ones. There was
Right.
something before the Pro, right?
They had like the Slim,
The Slim. I don't okay.
the
I don't know if the
PS4
Slim had
Slim,
any
and that's
updated
it, and
specs.
Xbox One S, and that's it. No specs, just the smaller
Just
size.
okay.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying from a business move, from a strategic numbers thing, like I get that. If someone's like, we will bet that there will be more. They're like, okay, maybe there'll be 40% of the market that has base, but that's less. That's less than half.
That's still a lot of
That's
people,
still a lot of people. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying from
and they all have Twitter. Uh,
but what I think they should have done is made it known. Yeah, hindsight's 2020, and they're like, yeah, we should have said that. But honestly, what I think they honestly should have done, because this would have pissed off people, pissed off way less people, is just delayed the game into a next gen exclusive. That
Yep.
at this point, it just would have made sense. Because
Uh-huh.
I talked about this last show with Ben Hansen that most people already assumed that the game was going to be PS5 and Xbox Series X. Like there was a giant part of the gaming population that already assumed that.
Yeah, I mean, look at those trailers. I remember seeing those trailers. Like, there's no way this comes out on current gen.
Yeah.
Like, how? How will that even run? Like, how is that even possible on current gen? Like, the fact that they're gonna back then pull it off on current gen was impressive. But we know how that played out so far.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't okay, I'm going to take off content creator journalist mode and talk as a fan. They messed up hard. They should have cut their losses and just been like, hey, this game's delayed until April 2021, June 2021. Like whatever the time frame for the upgrade to the PS5 and Series X, which I'll take if I'm still playing the game. Man, I'm pretty sure DLC will come out around that time. They should just said,
Right.
screw it. It's coming out then. And yes, that would have made people angry, but I'm sorry, a game that's been delayed well on 2 years, a year after whatever the initial projected release date is, a couple of months wouldn't have hurt nobody.
Right.
That's just how I feel. And I'm not saying that's the right opinion, but it would have made the most sense. It would have still sold like hotcakes. Whether this game came out a week ago or 4 months from now, people would have bought it and played it ad nauseum easily.
Absolutely. They would have eaten it up. The minute it drops, no matter when it drops, people would have eaten it up. I'm having a very interesting experience with this game because like I'm playing it on PC, right? And I specifically upgraded my entire computer to play this game. And I will thankfully say that I have experienced little to no issues playing Cyberpunk 2077. Looks beautiful, runs beautiful, plays beautifully. Right. Just because I'm not experiencing an issue doesn't mean that the issues doesn't exist and don't exist for others, right? So it's almost like guilty. I feel guilt to an extent. And I'm being serious because it's like I feel guilt playing this game because I know I'm in a position where I can see how good of a game this is. Because Odell, it's a really good game. Like the story so far is pretty captivating. The visuals, the landscapes, the atmosphere, the vibe of Night City, they did a good job capturing that. There's some like super immature writing, like when it comes to like things that adults do with one another. There's adult toys all over the damn place. I'm not sure what kind of age range listens to your show, so I'm not going to go into explicit
Oh yeah,
detail.
like I'm pretty sure people, if you haven't seen the Cyberpunk use of the D word,
yeah,
yeah.
and all the different things you can do with that thing too, right? So like it's a little bit of that too as well, and it's a little weird, but ultimately at the end of the day, like I'm already like almost 13-14 hours into the game and I'm loving it. But then you see what is happening with people on consoles, and you talked about this, like someone had to assume that most people had the higher end version of the previous gen consoles. Like, okay, I think that's a very safe assumption. What I think that person forgot, which I just said, is that all that 40% of people that don't have that, they all have Instagram, they all have Twitter, they all have social media, right? And we live in a day and age where people thrive off of like negativity and anything to be angry at, right? And I think in this case it's very justifiable because it's no secret they intentionally told reviewers they could not show any footage prior to release other than the B-roll footage that CD Projekt Red provided, right? There were no console codes sent out to reviewers. It was only PC codes. And then there was a conference call that just happened, I think today or yesterday. And even in the apology that they issued, they basically admit that they knew that they admit that they didn't pay enough attention to working on the baseline versions for the PS4 and Xbox One version of the game, and that it passed certification with Sony and Xbox and Microsoft based off of trust. As in, to me, it sounds like Sony and Microsoft trusted CD Projekt Red that they would have everything resolved by release, and they didn't go through the ringer in certification. And now here we are. Now there's millions of people who are trying to play this game on console, and they can't because it's just not playable. Like nobody needs to pay $60 to play a game in 2020 that looks like Grand Theft Auto 3 for like 20, 30 seconds as textures pop in. Inexcusable. And the worst thing about it is that, yes, the consumers are the victim, but the saddest thing about this is that the biggest victims are the game itself, because it is a great game so far, and all the people who did all that hard work to put that game together. And now they're probably having to sit there and work crazy amount of hours into Christmas just to try and fix something that, you're right, dude, they should have delayed it till summertime probably.
Yeah, man, that's always the biggest thing, because we always have to remember there's people behind these games, and necessarily, the decisions that happened that led up to everything was not necessarily a decision they made or even a part of that conversation. So,
Absolutely.
every time I talk about this, even if it's harshly, it's never directed at the people behind the game.
Right.
Never that. But as a company, when I judge a company, I don't judge people. It's a figurehead, and heads got a roll, so to speak, not literally.
Hey, can I ask you a question?
Yes, sir.
Does CD Projekt Red recover?
Oh, most
The
definitely.
reputation.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, easily.
You think so?
Oh, easily. You know why? Because another Witcher's gonna come out eventually, and game over. I think it's
game quality wise, maybe, but I mean like the goodwill.
all right.
Like,
It's because me and my friend had this conversation before. You got to remember that Twitter's a vacuum, a very loud vacuum, and
loud.
and what people say on the internet usually never really truly reflects what is actuality. For example, think back to the Pokemon controversy earlier this year, or not earlier this year, but when Sword and Shield released.
The Pokedex thing?
Yeah, the national dex.
Yeah.
Twitter would have you believe that people were boycotting Pokemon, that Pokemon was done, that Tim was about to sell billions of copies.
Okay.
And you know what? Pokemon Sword and Shield broke records. It sold like hotcakes. It did something stupid like 16 million in a day. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
wait, 16 mil in a day?
Yeah, some
It's Pokemon. Never mind.
Yeah,
That's surprising.
yeah,
I take that back. That makes sense.
Yeah, and it's worldwide numbers.
Yes.
So when you think of the globe as a whole, 16 million ain't a lot of people.
No.
You get 5 mil in America, you get 5 million in Europe.
You did okay.
Yeah, you get a couple million in Japan, obviously. So 15 mil becomes, like, it doesn't sound, or 16, I think. It doesn't sound as crazy as it initially does.
Right.
But people were like, oh, this game's gonna be, people were roasting the game before it even came out. They were just like, oh, it's horrible, this and that. You were there, you remember.
Have you ever, I've tried to coin a term. Ladies and gentlemen, if you hear this and you like it, please hashtag it and run with it. You know what people are on like Twitter and social media? Bandwagon pitchforkers, bro. People are just looking for something to be mad at.
That's true.
All the time.
Yeah, and this is gonna sound horrible. I don't think the Pokemon company deserved it, because that was just like a design choice. Like, there was nothing fundamentally wrong with the game.
Right.
Like, I have my qualms with the game, but that's just like, the game wasn't unplayable. A random tree looking bad does not destroy my experience with Pokemon at all.
Right.
But CD Projekt Red legit messed up.
Oh, big time.
Yeah, like there's no ifs and buts about it. But with that said, like you said, your experience has been flawless. I'm playing on the PS5. I run into glitches here and there. Like, at least every playthrough I turn on the game, I'm gonna run into 2 to 3 glitches.
Right.
But I say this, and I mean, if I'm just being honest, open world games are gonna have glitches. Like, that's just the nature of the beast. There's so much going on that it's gonna clip. A character's gonna do something crazy. Like, a common glitch I see every time I park my car and come back to it, it's like 3 to 4 inches off the ground. Like, the rubber's not meeting the road. Don't know why. But that's not game breaking to me. It's because it's like, okay, I'm gonna get in the car and then it's gonna be on the road and stuff. And now if I was hovering over the road every time I drove, that'd be a problem. But yes, when I park my
That'd be
car,
really kind of cool, you know. I mean,
yeah.
you could be like in the DeLorean from Back to the Future,
Oh
Back
yeah,
to the
you're
Future
right.
too.
Honestly, could I say anything? It's Cyberpunk 2077. Maybe that's just how cars roll.
Dude, there was somebody talking about an advertisement in the game that only said like text here, subject here, and some coding. And they weren't like they said there's so many bugs in the game that I can't tell if that was meant to be that way or if that was just another bug. And I'm gonna pretend everything because you said it was flawless. Like I've had a really good experience. I've had a few minor issues. Like the biggest issues I've had, dude, is that NPCs are speaking sometimes and their lips don't move.
Mhm.
Like so, Dex. My first conversation with Dex. Have you met Dex, by the way? I don't want
Yeah,
to get into too much.
the
Yeah,
mobster, the guy from the trailer, the
Mark
one,
Henry.
yeah.
He looks like Mark. Yeah, like I love Mark Henry, dude. Anyways, he doesn't. His lips don't move at all for that first conversation with him, and then there's a those I definitely can't say spoilers here. So there's one story mission where you have to speak to one of your fellow characters, and that character was caught in a run animation, just like still, and you can't talk to that person. So I had to reload. Thankfully, my previous save was like maybe 2 minutes prior, but I'm lucky. I'll put it like that. I don't know, you know.
No, man, I feel you. Yeah, okay, so obviously I'm playing on the PS5. The glitches I run into are expected because I expect any open world game to have glitch. I'm thankful I'm not playing. I have the pro, so maybe it would have been fine. I don't know. I haven't heard anything problems with the pro. But yeah, this is just it's weird because like when you say will they recover, this is gonna sound horrible to say, but if people still buy Fallout games, CD
Yep.
Projekt Red has zero to worry about.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
I mean, they can be taken as an insult, and I understand why, but that's just the truth of the matter.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Fallout
I
76 was horrible.
oof,
And
it's on Game
like
Pass for a reason.
I don't even have to excuse myself and be politically correct with that one. And whatever the next Fallout game will be, whatever form it will take, will sell.
Yeah.
Whatever the next Skyrim game, whatever form that will take, will sell. Hell, people like Skyrim glitches were like a term of endearment or something. Like, look at how I broke the game, best game ever. I mean, I don't play Skyrim. I'm pretty sure breaking the game is fun. I mean, that's why people keep doing it. So CD Projekt Red is fine because, especially what's gonna happen if they're smart, they'll of course they're gonna do the free upgrades. Obviously, you don't have a choice.
You have to.
But if I was them, I'd be like, the first DLC is just free. There you go.
Yeah.
We've patched it 1,000 times. The first DLC is free. Come back to Night City. I think everything be forgiven, especially when we hit that. I don't think they gave a time frame for the next gen upgrade. Whenever that's
No,
supposed to
not yet.
happen.
Right now, they're just focusing on like the January and February patches.
Yeah, but another big thing I think messed them up recently is that they were offering refunds.
Ooh.
I don't know if you have to prove you have the base model. I guess if you just wanted to refund, they told people, go back to where you bought the game from. If you bought it digitally, request your money from Sony or Microsoft. And then, if you can't get a refund through them or a full refund, they made a email address to send it to. But I love's not the right word, but I find it humorous to a degree, if I'm being honest, that Sony and Microsoft were both like refund from
What?
us?
¿Cómo
No,
qué?
no,
No,
what?
no inglés. No, what?
they, they
Like,
see CD Projekt Red said what? Well, last time I checked, my name was not CD Projekt Red.
ooh.
And that's
How
basically
does
what
that
they
happen?
did. That's I don't. What I'm
Do you
assuming is clearly they didn't talk to Sony and Microsoft before this. Obviously,
right.
that's clear. What I'm assuming is they made the announcement and they assumed that they would have been on board with it, and they were like, "Nah, bruh, that's your problem."
No kidding, man. And like, what an awkward position to put the consumers into, right? And not even that, but yourself. And then, like, can you imagine how much I would hate to be the person who has in charge of like opening up those emails for refunds at CD Projekt Red. Could you imagine how much that is right now?
Oh man, no man. Because okay, so I say a quarter of it's trolling, A quarter of
Yes.
it's like, bruh, I just want my money. And then a quarter of it is just like people being like legit angry. Like, oh, I'm never buying a game again, and I'm go uninstall The Witcher, and I hope you die. We don't
Whoa.
hope anyone dies here, but that's
No,
just
not
probably
at
what
all.
they're saying. I don't know. People get weird when they're angry.
They do. They really do.
But I
No,
mean, I, they're gonna bounce back. I wish I could say this. I'm trying to think of a scenario where their reputation is not ruined, but I mean, it'll be fine. They'll
I think it's what they do from here on out, right? It's done, it's done. And I mean, that sounds very like dismissive. Obviously, like, with what happens not okay. Their lack of Odell, like the biggest thing that bothers me isn't so much that the game isn't playable for some people. It's more so their lack of transparency regarding that, right? And I think that at that point, they probably succumb to some sort of pressure, even though they won't admit it, right? They've already said, no, there was no internal or external pressure. We felt that releasing it at this point was the right thing to do at this time. We just didn't pay enough attention, etc. I think that what they do here is, you're right. Get the next gen patches and upgrades out. Get those out. That way people can start focusing on that and not so much of what's going on now. uh, Phenomenal point with the free DLC. Go back to your roots. Go back with what you did right with The Witcher 3. Give out some free content for people to again just divert the attention away from the shambolic release that we just had, and like stop making stupid statements. Like this whole free refund thing, dude. I think that's just something somebody says to save face and stay and hopefully not get in trouble anymore. Like, just don't do that.
yeah.
Don't do that.
I'm now that I'm thinking about it even more. Okay, Q1, Q2, 2021. I honestly can't tell you off the top of my head, at least. I'm pretty sure it'll be like, duh. Because as far as I know, Ratchet and Clank doesn't have a release date. Horizon doesn't have a release date. Most things that are going to be legit next gen, as in, well, I know Sony and Xbox are doing that thing where like they're releasing everything on PS4 and Xbox. They're not doing exclusively, you know what I'm saying, the
Right.
ecosystem theme.
Right.
But most things I feel like that are coming don't have a release date. And so I was just saying, Cyberpunk could have easily entered the fray March, April, and had zero competition. At least in the
And
AAA sphere.
right. Easily. And
Easily.
I think people would have shuffled their release dates around if they had moved into that space also. You know what? I just pulled up a list of like 2021 games. You're right. There ain't really like there's stuff coming out, but not really worth like digging into here. But now with this, not only just the timing now at this point, but like, is this even a game of the year conversation at the end of next year, dude?
Nah, I say it depends on how good the DLC is in combination with how well it runs on consoles after the next gen upgrade.
Man.
But I will say, because of the controversy, it won't get a game of the year nod. It may get something else. It may get like best RPG, best narrative. It may get, but
Something
I
like that.
think it X'd itself out of the game of the year conversation. But then again, Doom Eternal was the game of the year nomination. So
You didn't like Doom Eternal?
no, I have nothing against Doom Eternal. But
Oh.
again, Ori existed in
Oh, I see. Yep.
yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing against Doom Eternal. Ori just got snubbed.
Dude.
If you're asking me, did Ori deserve to be there more than Doom? Yes, my answer is yes. You don't have to
Okay.
agree with that, but my answer is yes.
We can talk about that off camera later on. No, I'm just playing, dude.
Ah, flipping the desk.
I'm not sure like where we're going from here, but I just want to remind people one more thing at least for sure. It's buggy, it has its issues, but underneath all that mess, there is a really good game. I'm telling y'all, if you're one of those people who choose to be patient and give us a second chance, yeah, there's a great game there. You just unfortunately you're gonna have to wait, and man, it's just really sad that it came to this, man.
This is
I'm
gonna
so disappointed.
this is gonna be a weird thing to say, I guess, like as a gamer that wants content. But I love that it's a game that doesn't require 100-hour investment.
Yeah,
This is a game.
absolutely.
This is a game you can really get through in like 20 to 30 hours.
Mhm.
And even let's say you want to go completely crazy and like do the most max out. we're still looking at maybe just like a 60-hour game. We're looking at like a 60-hour platinum.
If that.
That's how people like to put things now. How
Right.
long does it take the platinum? And
Dude,
honestly, 60-hour platinum might even be overshooting it a little. It may not even take that long, honestly.
quick question. What path did you pick?
Okay, I forget the Wastelander. Is it Wastelander?
Nomad?
No, there we go. There we go. I
Nomad.
could
Nice.
because I
Nice.
was like, all right, like the street, like that was the only thing where it's like this is the only thing where like respect is something means something. I'm like, I'm gonna need that to survive. I don't like I like put like since this is putting myself in the game, I don't like being raised by prostitutes. That's doesn't sound like a good life. Not a good life. I mean, this was me. That was me literally reading. That's what
Oh my
it
god.
said. And then the other one was just like the corporate one was like, even if you make it out alive, you ain't making it out with your soul. And I'm like, that's not a good life.
Oh
Mm-mm.
man. What does that
Like,
say about me then? Because I went corpo.
oh man, and well, if you made it out alive, then chances are you didn't do it with your soul. You undid some things, man.
It's funny, the description is very telling of like what happens, like what goes down in each path. It's really cool.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
I don't know how you're gonna look your future child in the eye.
I don't, man. That's why I just won't. I'll just always bow my head down in shame. So, bugs aside and everything, dude, like, how do you feel about the game? Like, let's remove the bugs for a moment. What else do you feel about it so far?
Honestly, I think I'm with GameSpot and Kylie on this one. It's probably like a 7 to 8 out of 10 game for me,
Mhm.
honestly. Only because okay, so if I take away how pretty it looks, and it looks gorgeous, and I think that should if everything runs like you said, we're taking away, then like that's definitely a factor. And I'm just gonna use the term next gen because I feel like this is next gen level of stuff that it can do.
Right.
But I don't I don't want to say it didn't live up to the hype. It's a very streamlined game, meaning that okay, so you play as a fan of RPGs and JRPGs. Like I said, I do appreciate its short time length. But
Mhm.
Final Fantasy Remake came out earlier this year, and I can honestly say Final Fantasy VII Remake probably looks better at times, has better combat, and all these things. And when I compare them to, because they're similar genres, Cyberpunk to me, 27 feels very good average. Is a average good game.
Yep.
And I'm not trying to insult it anyway. It's like it's a solid 8 out of 10 for me. Like, yeah, this
Yeah.
was a cool game. It's very much one of those games. Like I play it, I beat it, I'll talk about it, but I don't know if I would revisit it.
I think it's very accurate. I think too, one thing that might hurt someone's experience with the game is expecting them to catch lightning in a bottle twice. You know what I mean? Like The Witcher 3 is just it's classic. It is what it is, right? But I would feel bad for anyone expecting them to have done the same exact thing again with a whole different style of setting.
Yeah, because all right, so to me, one of the biggest appeals of an open world game is its open worldness. GTA is a clear comparison. There's moments where you're like, you know what, I'm just gonna play GTA and just goof off, just whatever happens, happens.
Run over
And and
prostitutes and take their
and
money back.
yeah. See, that's how V was created. See, getting raised by those prostitutes, and then the GTA character came in. It's all connected, one giant
There you
universe.
go.
But I think I lost my train of thought there for a second. But
Sorry, dude.
so I haven't beat the game, so I haven't like hit like full beat the game, full free range mode. But I
Right.
have access to most of the city, and personally, I've yet to get that feeling of let me just explore this space. For me,
Mm,
I haven't, and I feel like as an open world game, Breath of the Wild, Grand Theft Auto, The Witcher, Fallout, Skyrim, one of the main things about open world, you want people to just exist in this world.
right.
And Cyberpunk hasn't gave me that feeling yet. Like I'll walk around and I'll be like, yeah, that's pretty. And it is pretty. It's gorgeous, honestly. But I don't know why. Just Cyberpunk doesn't invoke that feeling in me. And I can't honestly articulate why. Part of me thinks though it's because the UI is super confusing.
It's a little weird.
It's
It's a little weird. I'll
like
agree with you on that. It's a
like
little weird.
I just think I'm just like, man, there's a lot of wasted information I feel in that game. Like, okay, it's like cool, I can hack anything, but I feel like 70% of the stuff I can hack is there. Like, I'd rather just not be green.
Yeah, you can just blast your way through everything.
Yeah, it's just so I don't know. Sometimes you hit that eureka moment, and I just haven't hit it yet. That I
Yeah.
am I am at this time of recording, I have not hit it yet. Because normally I'm a type of person that once I get hold of a game, I'm like, all right, 8-hour days. Let me play it, pick it down, take a break, play it. And Cyberpunk has reached a point of me. I am just pushing myself through the game.
Oh, I know that feeling, dude.
Yeah, I
You know
that's
what? I'm gonna say something sacrilegious. I got that feeling towards the end of Final Fantasy VII Remake,
ooh.
but not because it was bad by any means. I love the game, but some of those like added in sections just felt like they were just filler, and it
Oh yeah,
was
no.
driving me insane, dude.
Yeah, bro. Chapter 9, because I'm one platinum away. I beat the game on hard mode, and I need to beat the final hard mode boss run, which I probably won't do at this point. But I remember chapter 9, I was like, bro, playing this through hard is gonna be hell. And it was, because you have to fight Hell House. But
Oh God, yes, dude.
it's just like, my God, yes, I know what you mean. It's just like, bro, we didn't need to fill 40 hours, whatever the hour mark was. We didn't need to do that. We already know there's 2 more parts coming. We've already fully accepted that this is a segmented experience. You didn't need to. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Dude.
But I think it's the completionist in me, because it really bothers me. One thing I would say Cyberpunk annoys me is like, I did a mission and I get like 10 phone calls from people with like side missions. I'm like, why are these not spaced out? Like,
It's
I
'cause they know
literally
who you
just
are,
finished the
man.
conversation, and like I got like 5, like, wait, who are you?
I'm in, like,
Who is
one
giving
small
y'all my
section of the
number?
city, and there's, like, so much in my map in, like, one small segment of the city. I'm like, I'm just gonna walk around a city. Literally, that's what I've stopped the storyline. I'm just walking around a city, just doing whatever, because there's, like, so much to do at one point. It's like, this is a bit overwhelming at times.
Yeah, but people, Cyberpunk is a game. The fear of missing out is real, and it's a game you're gonna want to experience. It's a game that's gonna be talked about,
Absolutely.
probably for more bad than good at this point, sadly. But hey, you want to be part of the conversation? Play it. Even if you don't think it's the best game ever made, I still think it's a fun ride.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
cool things, and it makes me hopeful for the future. But
Absolutely.
but before we get into the future, let's look back real quick at 2020 as a whole, and just talk
That
about some of
segue.
yeah,
That segue right there. That was
yeah.
good,
Thank you.
man.
Gonna look back at some of your favorite moments of the year, Frank. You already gave us one with Mario Kart Live, which I admit, the only reason I don't have that right now is there's not enough space in my living room. Like, I would literally have to move all the couches and everything out of the way, and then there will be enough space.
You
There's
can
not
put
enough
them on Facebook
free.
Marketplace.
Yeah,
Someone else will move them for you.
yeah, but I thought that's super cool. Like, I'm not gonna buy it because, again, like, I stay in a townhome, and like it's roomy, but not for that.
Right. No, absolutely, dude. Man, there's been a lot of great moments, and I think it would be cheap for me to say The Last of Us 2, so I'm just gonna quickly say The Last of Us Part 2 is one of my favorite moments of gaming this year. But one standout memory I already have, it's very recent, is the release night of the PlayStation 5. Um, Staying up all night long, literally, dude. I got 1 hour of sleep trying to find myself a console and buy one online. And you know Ricky from the Weekly Farcast. I know you've done like a little bit of work with him on the side too. It was me, him, and someone else. We were all FaceTiming, and like we got through the first wave of launches. No one got one. On the second wave, I got mine, and I was so happy, but I felt so guilty because like I was like flexing, like I got mine, and they haven't gotten theirs. I stayed up with them the entire night, FaceTiming while they try to get. They didn't get one yet. Well, they eventually have one now, but just that moment of like, this is what gaming has done for me in my life. I met two people on the internet, stranger danger. And they're like really close friends now. And I stayed up all night with these guys trying to buy a console that Lord knows we were probably not going to ever get. But here we are now.
Yeah, whoop. So that's one of my favorite memories. It's right here. If you've been wondering what this little white box is, it's my PS5. I did not get mine's release night. I actually was one of those people who were trying and crying. But Walmart did a drop before Thanksgiving. And I tried, and within a minute, the buttons breaking and stuff. So
Oof.
as I was weeping into my computer desk, I was constantly hitting refresh. And then let's just say the drop was 8 my time at 8:16, 16 minutes after the initial drop, and just hitting refresh for over 16 minutes after clearly there's not one there. I hit it and it's magically in my cart.
Dude.
I know hyperbole was like, this must be the grace of God. It is 16 minutes afterwards. Clearly it is sold out. I don't know if someone was trying to pay for it and they were broke and the cart. I don't know what happened. But one magically went back into the whatever.
The ether.
The ether, yeah. And I was like, oh. So I'm pressing, and then I get the email and it's like, yeah. And I check my bank account and there's a pending hold. I'm just like,
is it going to go through? Like, are they going to
yeah.
actually honor that charge? Like, what's the
And
deal? Like, they're going to play with my emotions here?
Yeah, and then a week later, this pretty boy. And
It's pretty.
which I thank God, because my plan was for the Black Friday deal, because GameSpot was doing the in-person one.
Oh,
where they said each store is going to have at least 2, and I was going to go camp out. But apparently people were camping out over 24 hours ahead of time, so I probably wouldn't have got
They had
one.
mattresses. Some people literally put mattresses out there and slept for like what, 24, 20, like 36 hours.
So clearly I didn't want it back, but I didn't have to. So, thank you, Lord. But I will say what I find what I find unfortunate, because this would have been me. I don't know if you remember, here in Houston, it stormed that day, like all night.
Black Friday night?
Yeah,
Or
Thanksgiving night. Yeah, it stormed Thanksgiving night into Friday morning. It was coming down, and I was like, dear God, that would have been me. Also, I don't understand people, because they said that they were only going to have at least 2, which means they're going to have 2, maybe 3.
Right.
And those lines were like 20 people deep. I'm like, okay, 5 and 6 in line, they're being hopeful. Yeah. Number 15, bruh. Number 20, no, you know.
I think they're just there for the spectacle, man. Trying to see somebody's going to pay somebody $1,500 for their spot in line or something like that.
Maybe that's a good point. So yes, I'm with you. Also, to that, the people. This is gonna sound crazy, because I told someone about this and they didn't believe me, so they looked it up. We actually got the reveal of the consoles this year too. We didn't actually know what the PlayStation 5 or the Xbox was going to look like until what, 2 months before release? A month?
June was it? No, it wasn't June. It was like 2 or 3 months before.
It wasn't June. It wasn't July, because I remember June I had COVID. That's one of my memories too that I'll get to. It wasn't June. It wasn't July. I mean, I'll look it up real quick. You tell me your moment while I look this up, or unless you beat me to it.
Yeah, no, I've got quite a few. So one of the things that I like that really connects me to a game, Odell, is going to be music, and it's a game soundtrack. And I think one of my like favorite memories is just replaying through Final Fantasy VII Remake. Well, playing through it the first time, but hearing the modernized versions of all those nostalgic tracks, dude. Like down to like Aerith's theme song, down to the intro theme song, the fight, the battle music, the boss music, just so much nostalgia that brought up so many nice memories of my childhood. That was just like, it was a really odd moment to have in a year like this, where you really were forced to sit inside and like be with yourself. You know what I mean? And it just kind of forced me to kind of think back on things. Like, okay, I was a little kid and bought the game when I shouldn't have, and now here I am, bought the game when I'm an adult, and here I am playing it now, and this music just sounds gorgeous, dude.
Yeah. Oh, so you were correct. It was June 11th, 2020. My bad. You were right.
There we go.
All right.
There we go.
So since we're in June, so I contracted COVID-19 in June. I'm okay, people. Thank you for all your well wishes. But I went down like a brick. People mask up. It is serious. But so one of the crazy things, at least here in Texas, before when I got sick, and I had it pretty bad. Like, I didn't have any breathing problems, thank God. But like, I could not get out of bed. I had like a 104 fever. I was a mess. And just to give you when I went under, there was no mask order. When I came back up, it was mask order. Some people were gloves. Everything was on lockdown in Houston. I missed a major game announcement. So while I was during that 2 weeks I was sick, they announced Crash Bandicoot 4. When
Oh.
I came back, I had no idea that game was announced. Like, I don't know how I went through, was like trying to catch up with news and stuff. I didn't find out that game was coming out until July. Like, I had zero idea Crash Bandicoot 4 was coming out until July. I don't remember, sometime in July. And just the biggest, I felt like I must have woke up like centuries later. I was like, there's a Crash Bandicoot. What year is it? It was such a mind-blowing moment for me. I don't think I'll ever forget that as long as I live. And then looking up, it was a recommended trailer in like my YouTube thing. And I was like, when did they announce this? And I was like, a month ago.
Wow.
Don't ask me how.
Great job. You overcame adversity with Corona, and you got a nice reward at the end of it all with Crash Bandicoot 4. Now the question is, did you buy it?
I haven't bought it yet, actually.
Oh my God.
So there were so many things. Like, I had Ghost, and just there were so many games I hadn't played that I didn't want to buy it. But with that said, I'm hoping. I don't think it's gonna get a PS5 upgrade because the game looks damn good already.
It needs it though.
But if it does, I'll get the PS5 upgrade, or I'm pretty sure in the coming months I'm gonna catch it for like $20-$30.
Oh, we're talking about Crash. I thought we were talking about Ghost of Tsushima for a second.
Okay, no, I have Ghost of Tsushima, so my plan is to catch it on sale and I'll acquire it then. Like, I'm pretty sure. I'm really hoping it might be like a free PS Plus game, and then I'll like save some money right there. But
dude, I hope so too. Just for you, man. I hope it's a free PSN game. Just snag it.
That would be some good stuff.
I'm gonna say this one just to be petty.
Okay.
All right. Okay. The first day when Ghost of Tsushima came out, I streamed it, trying to be a Twitch streamer over here.
Uh-oh.
And some rando pops in my chat and spoils the ending.
Wow.
I'm like, I'm one of those streamers. I got like maybe a handful of people that just come in and watch, right? Like, great people, love them all. And no one's ever done that. And I was like, really?
Was it someone you knew?
No. Well, presumably.
Oh,
who knows, right? Some people at work have started finding out what my content is and like what I do things. So maybe somebody was mad at me for something I did to them at work. I don't know.
Man.
But anyways, they spoil the ending. And I'm like, okay, whatever. I'm going to play through the game anyway. And dude, probably my favorite moment of the whole year so far in gaming, beating that game. That game was an absolute beauty of a game to play and beat, dude. Last of Us 2 was still my game of the year for many different reasons. Mm-hmm. But what that game made you do at the end was very similar to what they forced you to do with the boss and Big Boss at the end of Snake Eater. So
let me okay, to full circle back to a point I made earlier. Better open world, Cyberpunk or Ghost of Tsushima?
That's not fair.
See, I'm just proving. I'm making you understand my issue with Cyberpunk in terms of like.
That's a very difficult question to answer because
you don't have to. I just wanted you. I'm not gonna make you go on that emotional roller coaster.
But now I'm gonna sit here in the middle of my sleep, being like, looking up at the ceiling, like, oh my God, how do I answer this question?
But one of my best gaming moments this year was honestly The Last of Us Part 2. I will forever think Last of Us Part 1 is a masterpiece. I still believe that it did not deserve a sequel. Still 100% believe that. But I'm still glad we got one because this is the first game that ever made me question my feelings as a human being. Like, I've done stuff like in Metal Gear. I've done stuff that like it made me feel icky or it made me feel bad. But this is the first time a game truly made me hate myself for an outcome of a game. And I'm pretty sure I would have equally hated myself if the outcome was different. Regardless of the outcome, Like I've never like let me like this at the end of Last of Us Part 2 at the final for real climax. I was happy and upset at myself for being happy, and then upset at myself that I wanted what should have happened to happen. Like I've
Hmm.
never had any piece of media make me like I still have not fully processed my feelings about what happened and transpired.
Yeah, that game showed to me how vindictive of a person I'm capable of being. And that was scary because no game
Yeah.
has ever done that to me. Like, no
Um
game has ever made me wanna, like, wish a certain outcome upon anybody
yeah,
as
and
much as
and,
I
and it's
did.
weird because for example, like up until that moment, even with the Nora thing, I'll just say Nora, like I was just like no remorse. I was just like, and get what you get, you know. And normally I don't feel like that. And it's just like I'm not saying it's because of how the game plays, and I know the full story. I can honestly say it didn't change how I felt. It's just it's weird. I've never rooted for myself to do and not do at the same time. I've
Right.
never been at such a impasse. I don't think I've ever been at that impasse in life, period.
Yep.
And to get that from a game is just it's something I'll never forget.
Yeah.
And that
I
alone is why I think Last of Us Part 2 should be played by everybody,
Yep.
presumably after one. And I mean, I get some people were upset at what happened, rightfully so. So was I. But I think the bigger story is like, why were you upset? And why were you upset? Just like, it's, you know, this might, I don't think this statement's overreaching, but the game upset a lot of people, myself included, at the, it's gonna sound weird to say,
Drop it, dude.
but it made me upset at the goodness in humanity. Like, and that's just a weird
Elaborate.
thing to say. Like,
In the goodness of humanity?
yeah, like, like doing the right thing,
Mhm.
being the bigger man, doing the right thing.
Oh, so it made you upset at being someone who cherishes and lives by that way.
Yeah, like, or like,
Yep.
because most of medium is like, oh, look, they had a moment of humanity. They did the right thing. And even though if they're a bad person, it's like we all respect that. That's like a common theme in writing,
Right.
that I did the right thing. The right thing happened. Justice prevailed, the shining light of hope, not
Right.
everything is even in the darkest, coldest realities, there will always be that shining light of hope, so to speak. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm. Yep.
And the fact that, we had a glimmer of the greater good, the goodness in humanity was just like, no, that's not what I want. Like the world is bad and bad things deserve to happen. And I feel weird even saying it now. Like,
Yeah.
again, like I've never experienced something in life where I was just like, I
You're
don't
gonna
know.
get yours. Yeah.
Yeah, like it is weird because it's not a spoiler cast, so obviously I'm trying to dance around what happened, but those
Right,
who know
right.
know.
Yeah, exactly. I I think so. I'm gonna get a little personal here. So one thing that I've worked on in my career has been empathy, right? Being more empathetic with people and understanding where people come from with their feelings and emotions and situations. So going into The Last of Us Part 2 with how things transpired, um, the empathy part wasn't difficult for me. What was very difficult was acknowledging and coming to terms with the fact that I wanted a certain outcome to happen, and I wanted it very, very badly. And and it's funny to say that, and but it was like it was a purpose. It gave me purpose. I feel like Agent Smith from like The Matrix 2. Purpose is what drives us. But it gave me purpose. Every time I sat down and played that game, Odell, my purpose was to reach this ultimate ending where I was going to get the outcome I needed to have. And for the game to say, no, you're not going to get what you want because life just doesn't work that way sometimes.
That's
You
real.
have to you have to come to peace and to terms with things not playing out the way you wanted to. And then when that happens, I sat there and I'm like, roll credits. I'm like, okay, this was the most dissatisfying. This was the most satisfying, dissatisfying ending I've ever played through a game, and I absolutely loved every moment of it. But man, it really made me take a look at myself and say, like, what kind of a person am I? And where is my moral compass at right now? Because it is not where it was when I started this game. Truth be told, 100%, like, not me, not a content creator. This is just Francisco telling it how it is for his experience, dude.
I feel you. And I guess my final moment is, I, every year I always set the goal that I'm going to make it in the video game industry. And 2020 is going to end another year where I didn't quite reach that goal yet. But I can say I had some slip ups this year. We all have some ups and downs and disappointments in life. That's just a part of life. But I was able to do some things this year that I've never done before. And I'm thankful for those. I had some great guests on the show, you included, like we talked about earlier. I got to be on shows that I never even considered the option of being on them. And
Yep.
and that was cool, So I'm really that was some of the coolest moments being on MVC on IGN and being on the MinMax show and even on smaller shows I was on. Like I got to be on the NES remix show. Some guys we made up fun games and just other different things, and I just really enjoyed it. I got to be on the PAX Online panel. That
I
was
saw
that
that.
was
I
a new one
remember
for
that.
me. And fun fact, I got to be on a real in-person PAX panel at PAX South right before everything went to
Went crazy. That's
kablooey.
the one. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's two PAX panels, one virtual, one real life, a guest spot on some big and small shows alike. Thank you for everyone that joined me. And so, I'm really thankful for those moments. You know, I didn't hit some goals that I planned to hit, but I also hit ones that were never even, in consideration. So I would have to
Right.
take that in stride.
Absolutely, man. I think it's just even the most important thing here is just having a goal. You know, you don't have a goal, you have nothing to shoot for, so you're not really moving towards anything at that point. And I mean, I like you said it yourself. Do you know where you were last year and what you were doing, and compared to now, especially with a pandemic, dude? I think you made some headway. You know,
Appreciate that.
and for me, like one final thing too, I promise. It's always humbling. I just enjoy one of my favorite things so far for this year is all these random people popping into like my streams or my YouTube videos and just asking me for advice on like, how do I get my setup doing this? What kind of headset should I get? Do I use this mic or that mic? How do I use OBS? Like, I'm by no means am I a self-certified like professional at any of this kind of stuff, but I appreciate the fact that there are some people out there who are comfortable enough with what I do to come to me for those kind of questions, and that means the world to me.
Man, hey, Full Circle would not be what it is right now, this second, without you. I was one of those people. The mic I'm using right now is a mic I bought with a link you sent to me directly from Guitar Center. It is right here in use.
Sounds good.
Yes. And people, if you go listen back to the beginning of season 3, even if you watch it when I started watching, it was not the best. This man, Frank, is directly responsible for the current quality of the show, and I cannot thank him enough. So I appreciate you for that.
Oh, my pleasure, man. I'm just here to help, dude. I learned some stuff along the way, and knowledge is meant to be shared. So
Yes, sir. So, Frank, if anyone wants to get knowledge from you, wants to pick your brain, off your Twitch stream, where can they find you? Where even on Twitch? Maybe they want to join you there.
ladies and gentlemen, for a small fee of $5.99 an hour per consultation, just kidding. You can find me on Twitch. I'm sorry, you can find me on Twitter at GNR_Frank or Instagram at GNR_Frank.
All right, good sir. And as always, you can find me at Older Harmon Jr. on all your favorite social media. You can find the show at FC Podcast 23. There is also a Patreon Full Circle Podcast where you can subscribe, give some money if you're feeling. But remember, like, share, subscribing is free 99. But shout out to Gabriel Garcia, Bake Rice. Special shout out to Ryan Frazier, one of my best Patreons so far. He gave me some kind words. So shout out to you, sir. I read those
Awesome.
messages. Thank you. And like I said, gonna be off next week, everybody, for Christmas. Enjoy family time. We'll be right back with the last show of the year after that. So please look forward to that. And as always, have a good day and be blessed.
Merry Christmas, everybody. Be
Oh
good
yeah,
to
Merry
yourselves and be
Christmas.
good to one another. Odell, Merry Christmas to you too, my man.
Merry
Thanks for having
Christmas
me,
to
bro.
you. Merry
Always a
Christmas
pleasure.
to your soon to be born child.
Thank you.
I,
Thank you.
I was hoping we was gonna get the
The alert right
PR,
now.
but we
No, dude,
didn't.
I'm low key trying to keep it calm right now.
All right,
Gotta play cool.
gotcha. Well, everybody, enjoy your week. We're off next week. See you the week after.
Peace.